Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the March 14th, 2022 Mason City Council meeting. I'm going to start this meeting by calling it to order and ask for a roll call, please.
Councilmember Bradburn? Present. Councilmember Hackey?
Here.
Councilmember Grossman?
Here.
Councilmember Strickhill?
Here.
Mayor Spaeth?
Here. Okay, before we get started on the rest of the agenda, I just had a couple announcements. We had a pretty exciting weekend this weekend. I want to say congratulations to the Lady Comets and Coach Matula and the entire coaching staff on becoming state runner-up and for having a very successful basketball season. They won 27 games this year and they only lost 3. If you don't know, they were in the state basketball tournament over the weekend, and my husband and I attended the game, and I tell you, it was a nail-biter right to the end. They did go into overtime, and unfortunately, the clock did run out before they were able to pull off the win, but we should be super proud of all their hard work and determination, and it looks like they got a lot good future ahead. They only have one graduating senior this year, so they have a pretty young team, so congratulations again to the Lady Comets. Also want to mention last night the Manta Rays won the Ohio Junior Olympic 14 and under state championships. I want to make sure I say that right. They won all 3 championships, the girls team, the boys team, and the combined team. And they won the combined team by the largest margin, 800 points of any team in the last 19 years. So that's pretty outstanding as well, and we say congratulations to them. So we will go now to item 3, which is the presentation of the colors, and we're going to have that this tonight by the Girl Scout Troop 42800, and they're also going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, so I'm going to ask everyone to stand for that, please. Okay, you may be seated. Thank you so much. That was really great. Thank you very much. And with that, I would like to ask council if they would consider moving up item number 8 on the agenda, which is Resolution 2022-4. Would that be okay with everyone?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. I'll second. All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I am going to ask for a motion to read by title only.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, Jeff?
Resolution 2022-4, recognizing the contributions of Girl Scouts in Mason, Ohio.
Thank you. I just had a few things that I wanted to say about that. I was very happy to be able to meet with the troop this week, and I think you're working on, is it the diplomacy? I'm sorry, democracy badge, okay. And I was so happy to be able to meet with this troop this week, and it just so happened over the weekend was the anniversary of the 110th anniversary of the formation of Girl Scouts. And the troop leader, Christy, said, well, my girls can come, because I thought it'd be great for them to come to the meeting and see how one of our meetings works. And she said, well, they can come and post the colors and do the pledge. And I thought, oh, gosh, that's great. And then also this week, we had Casey Moran contacted me and actually Vice Mayor Nelson to want to talk about the Comets Cupboard. I want to make sure I say that correctly, to see if we wanted to learn more about that. And I thought, oh, what a great idea for Casey and her members of her troop to come tonight. And they're actually going to get up and talk during recognition of visitors and just tell us a little bit about that. But I know that Girl Scouts do such important work. I was a Girl Scout when I was the same age as these girls, and I also was a Brownie Girl Scout leader when my daughter was in Girl Scouts. So I have a big admiration for everything that Girl Scouts do in our community. And we have a resolution that I'm going to read to them in just a minute, but let me continue on and ask for a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and is there any council discussion? Okay, let's have a roll call.
Councilmember Hackey,
Yes.
Councilmember Grossman,
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula,
Yes.
Mayor Spaeth,
Yes.
Councilmember Bradburn.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm going to ask Troop 42800 and Troop 44405 to come forward to the front, and I want all the leaders to come as well, please. I'm going to read the resolution. Can you guys hear me on this? But before we do this, I'm going to ask the leaders, please tell me your name and your girls' names, and then if there's anything you want to share about your troop.
Hi, my name is Christy Dearson, and this is Risa and Jill, Sarayu, Amelia, Annabelle, Juliet, and Ella. And they told me that some of their favorite things about being Girl Scout is selling cookies, seeing their friends, the fun activities that we do, doing crafts and building things with our hands, making new friends, and helping others.
Okay, great.
I'm Casey Moran, and I've been leading this troop since some of them are kindergartners. They're 7th graders now. This is Alexander Moran and Kaylee Doherty. They're going to tell you about the Comet Cupboard and how they're addressing food security later in the meeting. But the things that they enjoy doing, they've launched 3 STEM videos with GE Aviation in 168 countries. They love to tie-dye. They love to do community service projects. And gosh, I don't know, we keep pretty busy, don't we? Yeah, we like to help out in the community quite a bit, and we like to sell cookies, and more importantly, we like to eat cookies.
All right, thank you so much. If you could bring the plaques forward and give those to each of the 2 leaders, please, and I'm going to read what's on the plaque. This is our resolution recognizing the contributions of Girl Scouts in Mason, Ohio. Okay. Whereas the Girl Scout movement was founded on March 12, 1912 in Savannah, Georgia by Juliet Gordon Lowe, whose life mission was to empower young girls with courage, confidence, and build character to ultimately make the world a better place. And whereas March 12, 2022 marked the 110th anniversary of Girl Scouts of the USA, the largest and most impactful leadership program for girls in the world. And whereas Girl Scouts continues to help girls build a strong sense of self, seek challenges and learn from setbacks, display positive values, form and maintain healthy relationships, and identify and solve problems in their communities. And whereas Girl Scouts works to champion the ambitions, cultivate the talents, and develop the skills of girls who confidently pursue their passions and make the world a better place. And whereas Girl Scouts engages girls of all grade levels in civics programming that deepens their understanding of democracy and government, prepares them for a lifetime of civic engagement, and motivates them to act on issues that are important to them. And whereas Girl Scout participants and leaders in Mason help to make our community a better place by instilling values that foster a spirit of compassion, kindness, and making a difference. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Mason, Ohio, 5 members elected thereto concurring. Section 1, the City of Mason recognizes Girl Scouts as citizens of Mason with courage, leadership, and an asset to the Mason community. And Section 2, that this resolution shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest period allowed by law, past this 14th day of March, 2022. Thank you so much, young ladies here. You're so remarkable and so important here in our community. Thank you. I think we have a little treat, but I also would like to have all council come up and take a picture with the Girl Scouts. I always love to do that. And then we have a little treat for you afterwards. Thank you again, ladies. I just love acknowledging the young people in our community that are the future of the city of Mason, and they just do such a wonderful job. Okay, I think we're ready to move on. We are now to, let me make sure I'm not getting mixed up here. We are on item 5, which is the minutes. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the February 28th council meeting, please.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay. And now we're on item 6, which is the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of items here. Our next regularly scheduled council meeting will be on Monday, April 11th. Also coming up this week is kind of a big week for folks paying attention to the scoreboard at the new indoor aquatic center is being installed. Council had authorized the scoreboard, which is kind of the final piece of the amenities there. That will put the finishing touch on that. Do want to spend just a moment while that's being installed to give some recognition to Mitsubishi Electric. After council had approved the purchase and installation of the scoreboard, realized that Mitsubishi Electric is one of the leaders early on in assembling scoreboards, video scoreboards, and wanted to partner with us on this. So working with Mitsubishi, we were able to get actually a world-class high-end scoreboard for the Indoor Aquatic Center with their assistance, and at a very attractive rate to the taxpayers. We're going to find an opportunity here in the future to thank Mitsubishi for that partnership, along with many other partnerships at the Aquatic Center. The pool will begin with an introductory opening the week of March 28th, which also is spring break for Mason City schools. So give folks an opportunity to visit the pool early on. There will be an open house event on Monday, March 28th. From 5 to 6 p.m., Premier members will get the first chance to get into the pool, and then 6 to 8 p.m., it will be open to the public. This will be a free event for anyone that wants to get kind of an early look at the pool. After the open house, and at the open house, there will be opportunities to get in the pool, some of the amenities, the aqua track, the Whitbit rodeo, some safe swimmer testing will all be promoted. And then following that, there will be some special test days and introductory tours that will help staff, as well as the manufacturer, some of the equipment, make sure and fine-tune how all of that operates. So if you're interested in some of those opportunities, I think the city's website is the best opportunity as those are developed. Also, on Saturday, April 2nd, the city is partnering with the Warren County Health District to hold a tire recycling event. That'll be 9 to 12 p.m. It's at the Service Center Annex Building, which is at 3920 U.S. Route 42. Used to be, for those that have been here a while, used to be the old wastewater plant there along 42. Residents can drop off up to 10 used tires during the event. Also, to make folks aware, City of Mason offices will be closed on Friday, April 15th. That's an observance of Good Friday. The community center will be open that day, but on Easter Sunday, April 17th, the center will be open from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. with limited access. And then the following week, on Monday, April 18th, is when city tax returns are due, the same date as federal tax returns. If you haven't filed those yet, residents can have their taxes calculated and filed online. I actually did that for the first time this year. It was very, very easy. While we can't offer in-person tax preparation this year again, residents can drop off their tax information, use the Dropbox or a secure email, and we will prepare their tax form for them. And then for those interested, and I know a lot of people are, the Community Center Spring Shop Local event, which is always very popular, is going to be held on Wednesday, April 27th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. That features Mason area merchants and home sales representatives that sell a variety of gifts. The public is open. It's held there in the center part of the atrium of the community center. That is all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Item number 7, recognition of visitors. Do we have anyone that would like to come up? Yes, please. Please come up to the podium, state your name and address.
Hello, Casey Moran, 4703 Saddletop Ridge Lane, and Alexander and Kaylee would like to give you an update on the comic cupboard that they've been running for the past 6 years.
My name is Kaylee Doherty. I live at 6751 Tyler Court. I joined the Girl Scout troop when we moved here a few years ago from New Jersey. Today, 9% of our Mason peers are food insecure, which means they don't know where their next meal is coming from. It can be hard to study and learn and be at your best when you're hungry. The comic cupboard can help. When we were second graders at Western Row, we started to help the Western Row backpack program, and then we eventually took it over. And when Western Row closed and we moved to Mason Elementary and Mason Intermediate, we started the comic cupboard. So the comic cupboard provides weekend food through 3rd through 6th graders, monthly personal care items for 3rd through 6th graders, spiritware, Valentine's, and more so that students can participate, coats, hats, and mittens, and other items that we provide to all schools. So each week we send home fruit, soup, mac and cheese, and breakfast choices. We have selected food items that can be easily made or made with no preparation. We also try our best to send home Pop-Tarts because we can't assume that everyone has a can opener, and we never send home glass products. So for the entrees, each week we rotate different meals each month. So our first week we have pasta with pasta sauce. Our second week we have chili with corn muffin mix. Our third week we both use tuna and chicken, ramen, and canned vegetables. In our fourth week we send home peanut butter and jelly. And next to be talking is Alexandra.
My name is Alexandra, and I live on 47003 South Top Ridge Lane. Let's talk about 2021 to 2022 school year. We hand out 50 bags per week. 5 kids pick up food every day. We have handed over 120 coats this year, 90 coats in November. Shine Like Sable provides snacks to our peers, over 50 Thanksgiving and Christmas meals. We need your help. The need is great, and there are 2 main ways you can help. Donate money to the comic cupboard. Checks can be mailed to the address on screen. Drop off food donations during school hours to Mason Intermediate. We don't accept glass jars and pop-top cans if possible. Some other ways you can help is that we've helped is that we give 10 cents to each of our boxes sold to Comic Cupboard. We have a goal of selling 4,000 boxes, and we have sold 3,600 to date. We also have a bake sale coming up at the American Legion on April 23rd. We make yummy treats. Finally, like us on Facebook to see latest needs. Juliet Gordon Lowe. The work of today is the history of tomorrow, and we are its makers. Any questions?
Does anyone from the audience want to ask the ladies anything about the Comets Cupboard? Council, does anyone have anything they would like to ask?
Mayor?
Yes.
If I could. So Kaylee and Alexandra, thank you for the work that you're doing. You know, we in Mason we can lose sight of the fact that there are people in our community that are food insecure. So the work that you do is incredibly important. So thank you very much for all you do, and please keep doing it.
Yes.
I have a question. How did you decide as a team, as a troupe, that you wanted to become involved in the Comic Cupboard?
Some kids in
Can
Mason.
you come to the microphone, please?
We're talking about food.
Well, we realized that our peers in Mason are food insecure, 9%, and we wanted to figure out if there's a way that we can help in any way possible. So we decided that the Comic Cupboard would pack bags and deliver them to the classrooms of our peers.
That's fantastic.
Anyone else? Okay.
Mayor,
Yes.
I'm sorry, if I may. So thank you for all the work that you do and for identifying a need in our community that needs to be filled. And you mentioned the Shine Like Sable. Can you talk a little bit more about how you interact with that group and how you kind of coordinate and work with each other?
They're not as familiar with that. That's okay. That's okay. No. So Shine Like Sable, Sable was in their class. And so they have a strong connection with the Gibson family, and they're delightful, and out of their grief, obviously help. So Sable's funds help provide snacks. Snacks is one of the things that we give to kids, because if you're sitting in class and you get the free breakfast and the free lunch, but it's snack time, you want to look and feel like your peers, right? And so these girls get that food, package it up, and then we deliver it to the classroom so that it actually gets put into their cubbies so that they feel and look like everybody else. And that's really important. We work really hard to maintain the stigma, right, of food insecurity. And so we work really hard with the teaching staff, the counselors, to make sure that that's a seamless process and they get what they need so that they can be their best young people. So unfortunately, that administrative step is kind of on my side, not as much on theirs.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you all very much. Appreciate it. And congratulations to all the Girl Scouts on the 110th anniversary. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come up and speak? Yeah, I'm sorry, the gentleman in the back, I think, had his hand up. Would you please come on up to the podium, please, and state your name? Yes, you, sir. Please state your name and your address, please.
My name is Rajendra Kelkar. I live at 6319 Thornbury Court in Greenbrier subdivision. So I'm a volunteer of Hindu Swayam Sevak Sangha, a non-profit organization. HSS promotes self-discipline, self-confidence, and a spirit of selfless service for humanity through its structured values education program for Hindu children and adults. Currently, HSS operates nearly 250 chapters nationwide, including local chapter in Mason, Cincinnati. HSS volunteers were at the forefront of humanitarian relief in their respective neighborhoods in 2020 during the challenging time of COVID-19. HSS volunteers are also helping in vaccination drives in many communities. Apart from the social service, also called the Seva activities, our annual nationwide programs such as Health for Humanity, Yogathan, like a Surya Namaskar Yajna, Sun Salutation, we got a proclamation from you, gained popularity in the American society where people of all walks of life participate. Hindus contribute to the surrounding community as individuals and as a community. Therefore, we are coming up with an exhibition to let our neighbors, our leaders, our educators, and the community know more about Hindu civilization. So Darshana, a glimpse into Hindu civilization exhibition. That's what we are coming up with. Tonight, on the behalf of Hindu community of Cincinnati, I am here to invite all of you for the very first Darshana, a glimpse of into Hindu civilization exhibition in Mason on April 30th, which is a Saturday, in the morning time frame. We are working with some details, but I just wanted to let you know so that you can mark your calendars. Most likely, we are going to request Mason Hall. We used to do a lot of activities across the hall, if we can able to get that, and we will provide you those more details. More details to follow. This exhibition is a platform to engage all our constituents while fostering common ideals and shared values. This exhibition is for all ages and people from all walks of the life. It is an opportunity to deepen awareness of Hindu culture and contributions to the society, creating an environment of harmonious coexistence while pursuing universal oneness. This exhibition provides glimpse into Hindu Dharma, a way of life, and Hindu civilization, including traditions, culture, contributions, and fun facts. So I would like to invite all of you, as well as all the citizens, on April 30th, which is a Saturday, in the morning time frame, and we will come back with more details to you, but wanted to let all of you know that this is coming up. And we are doing that all nationwide during the month of April. So thank you for the attention.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, you may come up. Please come up to the podium, state your name and address, please.
Hi, Charlotte Hagan. I'm at 5836 Running Fox Lane here in Mason. And I'm wondering if when you get to item number 14, Ordinance 2022-39, if you could plump that out a little bit. I'm not understanding, obviously I'm not a finance major, but shifting anything that has to do with the American Rescue Fund Act, I'm not seeing the link between that and the annual street maintenance program. I went through the information that was on the ordinance, I went through the Rescue Act, and they just seemed totally opposite. And so I'm wondering if, rather than shift the money towards that, if we had that much money, if perhaps that we missed someplace more directly related to the COVID health emergency, which is what this was intended for. So if you could help me understand that a little bit more, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Do you want to just wait till then?
I'll try unless she has other questions.
Ma'am, would you prefer to see if you had other questions after he explains, or do you want to wait until we do the ordinance? Go ahead and do the ordinance. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Does anyone else would like to come up and speak? Recognition of visitors? Okay, we're going to go on to item number 9, which is Golf Center branding presentation by Cate Becker. And Cate, you're probably going to do this, but could you please let everyone know what your role is out at the Golf Center and how long you've been out there?
Yes.
Thank you.
So my name is Cate Becker, and I am the president of Recreation Management Services and general manager of the Golf Center. My 1-year anniversary is coming up on April 1st, so it has flown by, but there's a lot happening, and we're very excited to be here tonight to present. So on behalf of Recreation Management Services, council and city staff, thank you so much for your time tonight and giving me the opportunity to present the new brand for the Mason Golf Center. The presentation tonight will provide a quick recap of the goals of the project. It will outline our research findings and insights and identify opportunities for growth within the golf industry. More importantly, the presentation will unveil a new name and identity for the course and make the case for how RMS intends to drive top-line growth through brand activation campaigns. So the goals of the project were to establish the Mason Golf Center as a valuable community asset and to successfully launch the new brand in time for the 50th, in time to celebrate the 50th anniversary. Some of the challenges that we faced were the Golf Center didn't have a defined role within the city's portfolio of offerings. The game of golf is evolving, and the course is in need of updates that can help it attract customers and compete with other courses. As part of our research, we received approximately 400 surveys to our brands, or 400 responses to our brand survey. And what we found was that referencing and finding the course was confusing. It's gone through many name changes throughout its history, and people refer to it in many different ways. There was one name that stood out with the most recognition at 35%, and that name was the Grizzly. The second point that we found was that the Grizzly is a challenging course in need of some love. So 28% of respondents rated the difficulty of the course as a 7. However, they also said that capital improvements were necessary in order for the course to better compete in the region. And thirdly, people are seeking a better off-course experience. Many of the comments requested improvements to the facility to create a more inviting guest experience. So the insights that we gleaned from that were 1, clear messaging and wayfinding were a must. 2, improved course conditions will elevate the experience. And 3, more diverse experiences will draw a more diverse crowd. So industry trends also reveal where the growth opportunities are. The first one is the game of golf is growing like never before. The National Golf Foundation reports that 37 million golfers played golf in 2020. The largest increase was in the youth category, and 27% of golfers are between the ages of 18 and 34. Number 2, player demographics are undergoing major changes. The National Golf Foundation also reports that women make up 24% of on-course golfers, but a much higher percentage of juniors, beginners, and off-course participants, and that 33% of new golfers are women. And lastly, people want to learn and improve their game, but not at the expense of fun. A Kemper Sports survey reports that people found that more than 40% of new golfers say that fun activities combined with golf would motivate them to play more. And 30% of respondents are likely to return if they can receive instruction plus social events. So if we leverage these opportunities into our new brand and marketing strategy, we can tap into these trends and expand our potential for top-line growth. So without further ado, I present the Grizzly Golf and Social Lodge in Mason, Ohio. The Grizzly headline takes ownership of a name that has widespread recognition. The typeface blends functionality and versatility with a distinct personality. The Grizzly Bear is a hand-rendered, unique design that celebrates the course's history and is a subtle nod to Jack Nicklaus's Golden Bear. The name and identity establishes the course and facilities as a destination along the city's other major attractions. It promotes all of the amenities as a gathering spot where community comes together. The shield includes the Mason M, a recognizable feature of the city's brand, and Mason, Ohio signifies where the Grizzly lives and plays. So our brand positioning is the basis of our communication strategy and repositioning of the Grizzly in the market. It tells us how the Grizzly can distinguish itself from our competitors in the minds of our customers. Our position is we exist for the love of the game. The Grizzly Golf and Social Lodge is the City of Mason's finest public golf and social experience. It's a place where golf can be played as it should be, led by those who know that passion, competition, and fun belong to everyone. Our values help us create an experience that no other course can replicate. They can also become the basis for how we develop messaging and marketing campaigns. We are inclusive and welcome all golfers, no matter your background or ability. We are accessible and eliminate barriers to entry for those who've never had a chance to tee it up. We are warm and create a safe, no-pressure space that fosters enthusiasm for the game. We are healthy and prioritize golf as a means for physical wellness, mental health, and active living. And we are proactive and focused on outreach to engage our longtime golfers and to attract the next generation of players. We're also unveiling a new name for the restaurant tonight, the Great 18 Bar and Grill. The Great 18 name has many layers of meaning. One plays 18 holes in a typical round of golf. The Grizzlies' 18th hole has a storied history and is one of the best finishing holes in the region. We also have a pretty good view of it from the patio. And lastly, it's a nod to Jack Nicklaus winning a record 18 major championships. Our renovation is nearing completion, and our newly refreshed restaurant will have an updated menu boasting fresh ingredients and handmade bistro fare. We'll be bringing back longtime favorites like the quesadilla and the pork chop, and adding a few new entrees, appetizers, and cocktails. Our goal is to turn Mason's best-kept secret into a year-round destination for great food, social events, and community gatherings, a place where we invite you to come for a round and stay for another. So the Grizzly Biz, this is getting down to how we can create campaigns and revenue opportunities to increase top-line growth. So golf merchandise is something that you typically would see in the pro shop. The brand system is flexible and gives us many options to brand golf-specific merchandise. The mock-ups featured here are examples of types of products we can sell, such as umbrellas, golf head covers, golf bags, player development logs, and beverage containers. We're also exploring new categories of lifestyle merchandise. These items seek to inspire, guide, and motivate people to live the Grizzly Golf way of life. Featured here are trucker hats, hoodies, and outerwear. By pursuing the lifestyle avenue, this allows us to expand merchandising into activewear, outerwear, workwear, and even accessory categories, and increase our potential for sales. The Grizzly turns 50 on July 1st, 2022. We have lots of events and activations planned throughout the year. Some examples include games and contests, concessions pop-ups, a downtown scavenger hunt, and an anniversary-themed championship tournaments. During the 50th anniversary week, which is June 27th through July 3rd, we also have many things planned. The 29th through the 30th, the Grizzly 50th Anniversary Celebration Championship, that's a mouthful, is the GCGA's Junior Metropolitan Tournament. On July 1st is the Grizzly 50th Anniversary Party, featuring live music, a special menu, and a Golden Era throwback-themed party. July 2nd is the Mason Classic. It's an all-day tournament with men's, ladies, juniors, senior divisions, and potentially even some celebrity guests. And July 3rd at Red Rhythm and Boom, we'll be hosting a putt-putt pop-up. The 50th anniversary, is also an opportunity to sell limited edition anniversary merchandise, which will only be available in 2022. Hats, ball markers, and bag tags are just a few examples of the types of merchandise we can sell this year. Tomorrow, we will launch our new website. It has been completely redesigned to showcase the new brand, name, and story of the course. It's easy to navigate and allows guests to do everything from booking a tee time and inquiring about group sales to exploring our programs, services, and events. In the coming months, we plan to launch an online pro shop where you can purchase gift cards, buy merchandise, and sign up for events and programs. Tomorrow, we'll also be launching our new social media accounts on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Social media helps us spread the word. Impressions lead to revenue by letting people know what the Grizzly offers and what value it can add to their lives. Social media is also trackable and cost-effective. We can monitor analytics, behaviors, and trends, and adjust our strategies based on what's working to maintain communication and drive revenue. Social media also helps turn followers into customers. By driving followers to our website, we have the chance to convert those individuals into potential leads and paying customers. So please consider giving us a like, share, or follow. So in summary, thank you again for your time tonight, and we hope you'll join us this year to celebrate the Grizzlies' 50th anniversary and the bright future ahead. Oh, and before I forget, I have shirts for council.
While Cate is handing out those T-shirts, Eric, did you have anything you wanted to add, or any other staff, or is there any council member that wanted to make a comment or ask a question?
I'll just add, emphasizing Kate's been out there for a year now, and a lot of work has been going on before she arrived, and she has only accelerated the pace of that, has brought another level of energy and reinvention to the course. So this is a big year. There's still a lot going on, a lot of investment. The council is committed to the course, and very confident that Kate is going to both leverage that and generate more efforts for us. So,
Anyone else? Yes.
I'd just like to comment, I'm very pleased with the outcome.
Thank you.
I remember liking both styles very much and asked if they could have a baby because loved the bright modern colors, but I also liked the throwback to the grizzly bear, the homage to all of the original culture of the grizzly course. And so I'm just so pleased and so proud of the work you've done and very grateful. Congratulations, and thanks for an excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, anyone else? I know for one, I am very excited because in the summertime out there on the patio, you can pretty much find me on a Friday or Saturday night out there. And I think I was in one of those pictures behind one of the umbrellas. I think it was me. I'm pretty sure. So I'm excited. I'm really excited, too, about the anniversary being the same weekend as Red Rhythm and Boom. And it's going to be so much fun. So good luck and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Let's move on to item 10, which is ordinance 2022-35. I need a motion to read by title only, please.
So moved?
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, Jeff?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources for the Senate Bill 310 Capital Improvement Community Recreation Project for the adaptive ball fields at McKeno Park.
Okay, Eric, please.
yes, Mayor, this is actually a very simple ordinance, but coupled with a very, very large and very popular project. McKeno Park, especially Common Ground, was completed here in the last 2 years and was a decade-long effort led by a lot of residents and citizens, a lot of corporate partners, came together with a great story to get that playground constructed. But the story hasn't ended there. As council's well aware, the final plans include 2 adaptive ball fields, which have been designed and are ready for construction once funds are raised. And last year, the city was successful with the help of our state delegation in securing funds in the state capital budget, $675,000 towards those adaptive ball fields. And effectively, what this ordinance does is it allows the city to accept those funds. Those are combined with privately raised funds between the Mason Challenger League as well as the Parks Foundation to go towards the ultimate fundraising goal. So this simply accepts the funds that were committed to the city in the state capital budget. We're continuing to request funds in the next capital budget and anxious to see progress in those. Have had, again, a lot of support from our state representatives. Based on the success of the fundraising, both private, these type of grants, there's a possibility the project could be awarded as soon as later this year. But it also may be, depending on those timeframes and as some of those commitments come through, the bidding may shift to 2023. But staff are prepared to move those bids forward and then look forward to construction once the funds are raised. So this is a piece of it. The The Mason Challenger Lake has a lot of other efforts and a lot of very positive leads that we think are pretty confident in bringing the funds together to see the next iteration of McKeno Park. Ordinance 2235 is recommended for adoption.
Okay, thank you, Eric. I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Okay, a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second?
Council discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Grossman?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Spade?
Yes.
Councilmember Bradburn?
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Item number 11, ordinance 2022-36. I need a motion to read by title only, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, Jeff?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Barrett Paving Materials, Inc. for the 2022 street maintenance program in the amount of $1,908,081.
Okay, Eric?
Yes, Mayor, try and keep this brief. Kurt and I can tag team to the extent council's interested, city managers on these. And this is the next 5 ordinances, actually. I'd like to talk about the dollars and the planning that goes into it, and engineers like to talk about asphalt and paving and roads. But to keep it simple, I think you've heard me talk several times, and I'm still very pleased with the innovation in this, what we call this set-aside program, modeled after what we did with the fleet several years ago. This is a much bigger, much more complicated effort, but we are making headway. And what that is each budget cycle, we try and budget a certain amount for asphalt, and then depending on pricing, depending on timing, we measure how much of that goes towards that year's program. Anything that isn't spent, we go in as set aside. How roads deteriorate and how the earlier you can do maintenance tends to mean you save exponentially on what you ultimately have to spend on the roads. Last year, we were able to go, because of pricing and because of some large projects, we were able to spend the full amount budgeted. This year, prices is a bit higher than we'd hoped for, but I think we'd also anticipated in the last few months. So we're not going as deep, which means out of the $4.5 million total that was budgeted for the program, what's recommended here in the course of these ordinances is to spend the typical amount of funding, that's $1.5 million of it, an alternate amount where we felt was responsive to the condition of the roads and make an investment now to save much more money in the future of another $1.5 million. And then that other $1.5 million that was budgeted would go into the set-aside amount, which is building that balance to kind of allow us to even out future cycles into the future of how much is invested in the roads each year. I feel this is a very positive program. I think this is really, while it hasn't borne all of its fruit yet, it's really set us apart in how we handle road construction and how we manage what is one of the more significant expenses as well as responsibilities of the city is to make sure the streets stay in good condition. I don't know if Kurt has anything to add, or if there's any questions. Maybe after that I can speak to the final ordinance that's part of this package, which is what Ms. Hagan raised as far as the ARPA funding. I don't know if there's any questions for Kurt. He really hopes you'll have at least one question. I'll speak then to the final ordinance here, 2022-39. That is, and I'll try and, it's a very complicated topic with a lot of money from the federal government as part of this federal program to distribute money nationally. And I think the question that was raised is, why is the city electing to use it for road resurfacing instead of something more, maybe more directly related to COVID relief? And the short answer is the federal government has been very generous in funding here, but they also have requirements both coming and going. So how you qualify for amount of that funding, there are several different calculations that can be done. And then what your funding you receive is qualified to do, there are also several calculations and several restrictions. In brief, what the city opted for, because we felt it was the ability to return the most taxpayer dollars back to the city of Mason, was a revenue recovery, which is where, and They did actually try and make this simpler by allowing some standard allowances, and then if you're able to measure up to that standard allowance, you don't have to go through some additional paperwork or justifications. Revenue recovery, we were able to measure where the city had lost revenues that otherwise would have come into the city due to COVID. That is things like we had to close the community center. We were actually able to use utility revenues, which we lost some based on some recovery efforts that council had did to the community. Also things like lodging tax at hotels. We're able to do that calculation to qualify, to justify the amount that we were qualified for. So we received those funds under the revenue recovery element of that. However, those funds can't go back to where the revenue was lost from. It has to be spent on certain priorities that the federal government had established for localities. And several of those were items that actually generated additional operating costs, started new programs, items that weren't necessarily priorities of the city. But we are intent on making sure the dollars that we were allowed and that we had justified, that we were able to keep those in Mason. One of the options that was available under government services was roads. Even though roads aren't necessarily related to how we lost revenues, they're one of the abilities we were able to spend the money on. And so the paving program, and actually because of some of the things I mentioned, how it's kind of a built-in dynamic element of it from budget year to budget year, by committing to spend our full allocation over the next 3 years into roads, we were able to make sure we get the funds. It is items that are priorities for us anyhow, save future operating costs, invest in infrastructure, and make sure that we were able to keep those dollars here. There were other options that maybe spoke more to the question that was raised, but would have increased operating costs. We weren't able to go back and spend it where the revenues were generated in some of the programs that we ran. We had to spend it on priorities that the federal government set out. So at the end of the day, it is a reimbursement. I mean, it has the effect of a reimbursement, but it has to be directed to priorities that they set, and the paving program did fit that. I hope that helps. With that, I think ordinances 2022-36, 37, 38, 39, and even 40 are recommended for approval.
Okay, thank you, Eric. I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading, please.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, a motion to adopt?
So moved. Second?
Okay, any council discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Spate?
Yes.
Councilmember Bradburn?
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Grossman?
Yes.
Item 12, ordinance 2022-37, motion to read by title only, please.
So moved.
All in favor?
Yes.
Jeff?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Bruce Construction Company for the 2022 concrete maintenance program in the amount of $956,330 and declaring an emergency.
All right, thank you. Eric, did you have anything to add? You've already discussed it.
I said everything I had to say. Kurt may have things to add.
Kurt, do you have anything to add?
On this one, I might just add something quick.
Okay.
This is a little different for us to separate out the concrete work from the paving program. Generally, it's all included. This year, to try to get better pricing, we broke it out as a separate contract, and it included the sidewalk program this year. And the reason for the emergency is that we're trying to get that concrete work done out ahead of the paving crews, and so that's the reason for the emergency, so we can get that work going as soon as possible.
Okay. All right, thank you. I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Any council discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Spate?
Yes.
Councilmember Bradburn?
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Grossman? Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Item 13, ordinance 2022-38, motion to read by title only, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Jeff?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with J&A Construction, Inc. for mastic and crack seal in the amount of $200,000.
Okay, Eric or Kurt, anything to add? Nope. Okay. Motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Any council discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Bradburn?
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Grossman?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Spaeth?
Yes. Item 14, ordinance 2022-39, motion to read by title only.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Jeff?
Electing the use of the standard allowance for lost revenue for the funds received under the American Rescue Plan Act and utilize the funds for the city annual street maintenance program.
Okay, Eric or Kurt, anything to add? Nope. Okay, motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Any council discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Grossman?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Spaeth?
Yes.
Councilmember Bradburn?
Yes.
Item 15, ordinance 2022-40, motion to read by title only.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Jeff?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with A&A Safety, Inc. in the amount of $100,000 for the 2022 street striping program.
Okay, Eric or Kurt, anything to add? Nope. All right, motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any council discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Grossman?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Spaeth?
Yes.
Councilmember Bradburn?
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Okay, we're to item 16, ordinance 2022-41, motion to read by title only.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, Jeff?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Axon for the purchase of a new in-car camera system for the police department.
Okay, I believe, Jennifer, you have this one?
Yes, I do, Mayor, members of council. It was just 12 years ago that the city introduced in-car cruiser cameras. And at that time, they decided to do it over a period of 9 years before, I can't talk tonight, I'm sorry. Struggling with a sore throat, sorry. It took 9 years to fully equip 25 cruisers in our fleet. Today, all the cruisers are equipped with those cameras, but they're between 12 and 2 years old. 80% of them are beyond the 3-year warranty for Panasonic. It is evident that they're beyond that warranty. We're having inadvertent maintenance issues that now are becoming routine and very regular. These issues relate to the units failing to record or activate and failing to download the recorded video to our server. To further complicate the maintenance issues, what was once a local vendor, they are no longer available to support the system. While the cameras are not required by law, they do serve a useful purpose, including producing evidentiary review for court cases, providing impartial documentation of an incident, as well as reducing personal perception, bias, and potential discrepancies. Recognizing that the maintenance issues were mounting, the police department, in cooperation with our IT office, began evaluating alternative options for these. Staff learned of Axion, which is a cloud-based sole service provider. Moving to a cloud-based system has a number of advantages, including eliminating the need for a server, which we would have to purchase as part of replacing all the cameras, and ongoing maintenance of that server from our IT office, as well as reducing administrative efforts needed in responding to court and public records requests for video footage. With this system, staff can provide a simple link for those requesting public records that can go in, and then they can automatically view the video footage. The cost to replace and upgrade the existing system is roughly $160,000. Axion cloud-based system has quoted a first-year expense of $72,500, which would replace all cameras, including the maintenance of those cameras and provide cloud storage, with an ongoing maintenance expense of $60,000 per year for 5 years. The existing in-car camera systems would be auctioned off, and staff feel that a smaller local jurisdiction might be interested in these cameras. They still have some useful life available to them and would be ideal for those agencies. With that, ordinance 2022-41 is recommended for adoption.
Okay.
Questions?
Thank you, Jennifer. Motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, I need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any council discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Stricula,
Yes.
Mayor Spaeth,
Yes.
Councilmember Bradburn,
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey,
Yes.
Councilmember Grossman.
Yes.
Okay, item 17, ordinance 2022-42. I need a motion to read by title only, please.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, Jeff?
Authorizing the city manager to execute the contract with Civica Company for the purchase and installation of the finance application and software replacement.
Okay, Jennifer?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. The city has used Civica CMA software since 1988. To give you any idea, that's the year I started off in public service working for the city of Springboro, and they were looking at the same system or implementing the same system at that time. The company that provides the software is locally based in Englewood, Ohio. That system is used for all of our financial data collection, processing, and reporting. The system was originally developed by a former finance instructor from Englewood, Ohio, and it was a system that at the time was used by majority of smaller as well as medium-sized jurisdictions throughout the state of Ohio. It was a thing that everybody was moving to. This software has a suite of modules such as tax, accounts payable, payroll, and financial, as well as financial reporting. Another advantage to the software is it is compatible and integrates with other software systems that are used to run building permits, our community center operations, aquatic center operations, as well as our customer service desk. The system received major upgrades in both 1997 as well as 2002, and currently receives minor upgrades annually. It has truly stood the test of time. About 10 years ago, staff began exploring other software options just to see if there was any out there. It was an aging system, and still at that time there was a limited number of these types of systems. And the unique thing about it is it's really government related to the financial reporting of the government's needs. Prior to COVID, Civica announced that they were moving to a new platform and would no longer provide support to existing systems after July 2023. The Finance Department, in cooperation with IT Office, intensified their efforts to evaluate software options, including site visits to local jurisdictions like Blue Ash, Montgomery, as well as Springdale. It was found that most of these communities were selecting to remain with Civica for several reasons, including the cost to convert was significant, along with the administrative time to convert. The value add was minimal, and there was a lack of confidence that other vendors could perform services needed, especially as it relates, again, to those governmental accounting needs. They are quite different. The 2002 budget included $400,000 for this new software. The cost to move forward and significant upgrade Civica CMI to the new platform, as well as the upgraded software, is just over $249,000. It is a significant cost savings as well as a time savings for our staff. Finance Committee has reviewed and is recommending ordinance 2022-42 for adoption.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I need a motion to adopt.
Second.
Okay, any council discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Spaeth,
Yes.
Councilmember Bradburn,
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey,
Yes.
Councilmember Grossman,
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula.
Yes.
Okay, item 18, ordinance 2022-43, a motion to read by title only.
So moved?
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, Jeff?
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a farm lease agreement for 2022 through 2024.
Okay, Kurt, I think you're explaining this.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you, Mayor and Council. This is kind of the opposite of every other bid that I do. This is one that we want the highest bidder, and this is for 6 properties that the city owns that are suitable for farming. The highest bidder, it's a total of 246 acres that are tillable. Our highest bidder was Fred Vonderhaar, who has been doing it, I think, since 2005, since we started to bid out this process. And so the city does have this allows us to keep those properties as CAUV, which greatly reduces the amount of property tax that we pay on those properties. And it also, the lease has a right to terminate. So if we do have a corporation that wants to move into some of the property, we want to develop it, we can't get out of that lease and if there is a crop in the field, there's a provision in there to pay for that crop damage. So it doesn't tie our hands, but still allows us to reduce that property tax and get some income from the crop. So with that, ordinance 2022-43 is recommended for adoption. And then if I could describe 44 and 45 as well, they're related to a farm lease. Those are both related to the Shopaker farm, which was acquired by the city last year. There's about 13 buildings, give or take, what you call a building out there, and 2 houses. They're at 3829 and 3827 US Route 42. The existing situation that the Shopakers had was they had a tenant in each of the houses. The newer house, which is 3827, had a tenant in there that maintains the property around that house as well as down along the driveway. And then the tenant in 3829, which is the old farmhouse that sits a little bit further back, it's on the southern house. That tenant actually doesn't pay rent for the house, but what they do is they till the 40 acres that are around, that are on the Shopaker property. They pay for all the seed, all the inputs, any fertilizer that's needed, the equipment, and all the labor, and then all of the crop that they sell, the total profits would go to the Shopaker. So what we're recommending is that we take those 2 existing situations, basically have the city take over those leases and continue that arrangement for the next year at least to try it out, and then we can reassess next year. Both ordinances do provide for renewal if we'd like to continue with that in future years. So that's ordinance 44 and 45, which are both also recommended for adoption. I'll answer any questions if you have.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
A motion to adopt?
Moved.
Okay, any council discussion? Okay, need roll call. I'm sorry, could I have a roll call?
Councilmember Bradburn?
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Grossman?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Spaeth?
Yes. Okay, item 19, ordinance 2022-44, motion to read by title only.
In.
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, Jeff?
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a lease agreement for 3827 US Route 42.
Okay, a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, a motion to adopt.
Second.
Okay, any council discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Grossman?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Spaeth?
Yes.
Councilmember Bradburn?
Yes.
Okay, item 20, ordinance 2022-45, a motion to read by title only, please.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Okay, Jeff?
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a lease agreement for 3829 US Route 42.
I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Okay, any council discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Grossman?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Spaeth?
Yes.
Councilmember Bradburn?
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Okay, and I believe Jeff is going to have an explanation here for us.
Sure, this is primarily just for the public, but with those 3 ordinances that you just addressed that had to do with leases of property or kind of conveying an interest in property, you might remember that back in November, the voters approved a charter amendment that provided a mechanism for council to have written disclosures about conflicts or potential conflicts of interest with real estate dealings, just in an effort to increase transparency on this type of transaction. Just so everybody knows, that charter amendment would apply to those three lease agreements that council just entered into. And I guess I could have said this before, but those disclosure forms were at council's seat. They've all had an opportunity to review them, and they had all turned them in prior to the vote.
And that's one of the things that's required under that charter amendment. And I just wanted the public to know that you voted for it, you put it in, and council's been using it, utilizing it for these deals.
Okay, thank you very much. Item 21, in committee reports. Does anyone have a committee report? Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mayor, thank you. Safety Committee met last week. We had discussions with our police chief and our fire chief. I'll go over the fire chief from Chief Brummage. A lot of discussions on where the city's going to be going possibly in the future as far as staffing and manning stations, so on and so forth. One of his recommendations is that we do that the fire department apply for fire accreditation, very much like the police department has. And this is a way to go ahead and improve our ISO rating, that's Insurance Services Organization, which is a rating that is given to fire departments, which can affect fire insurance rates. He's looking, and rightfully so, for what he called, and I agree, the kind of low-hanging fruit to improve the city's ISO rating. And so we will be getting more information from him in regards to that, and that will require some type of council action. We'll be looking for some type of a mission statement, a resolution from council as a direction to the delivery of fire and EMS services for the city of Mason in the future. The fire chief also indicated he hoped to have staffing completed by the end of the year for the third medic unit for a 24/7. Right now, I believe that medic unit is 6 to 6 Monday through Friday. Mr. Hanson, if you're listening.
Sounds right.
Okay, take that. Okay. That's what I seem to remember. These additional positions are contained in the 2022 budget. The fire chief indicated he's looking at, in the future, at 3 additional pieces of equipment. I see 2 of them as replacement and 1 as addition. However, he also indicated to us with the current supply chain issues, there's a 2-year wait for delivery. So if we were to order it today, we might get it in 2024 or 2025. So with that 2-year delivery, we will advise council as to the time frame expected in the near future for projected legislation in acquisition of these pieces of equipment. And there will be much more continued discussion in the safety committee as far as the direction of the fire department and delivery services. The police department, at council's desk is a copy of not a copy of state legislation, but apparently a summary in regards to fireworks. There is, hold on, let me get here. Let's see. States indicating that beginning July 1st, fireworks can be discharged in the state of Ohio for New Year's Eve and Day, Chinese New Year, Cinco de Mayo, Memorial Day weekend, Juneteenth. Now the next one is July 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and the Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays preceding and following. I got to sit down and look at the calendar. It sounds like a whole week to me, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, Labor Day and Diwali. Diwali, I did not realize that that's apparently a 5-day event. So the bottom line is, we have the option to say no. We don't want to opt in to allow it. We also have the option to go ahead and put some restrictions on it. We had some brief discussion, especially don't want people blowing these things off at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. So we'll have some more discussions on that, and then Mayor Spaeth brought up the fact we might want to have a little discussion with Deerfield since we're so close to go ahead and say, could we we would probably be looking at, I assume, an ordinance or resolution, and they might want to pass something similar to ours, so we don't have a conflict between neighbors. So we'll get more into that. Chief is going to get more information because it's being kind of led up by the State Fire Marshal's office. And the next thing is, next council meeting, we should have legislation being brought in for funding of the Warren County Drug Task Force. To my other 2 members on the committee, did I miss anything?
No, sir.
I think you covered it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Bradburn. That was very good. Thank you. Anyone else would like to make a report? Okay, yes.
Hi, I have a report from Park Board, which is similar to the committee that I chair, which is Community and Recreation, or it could be Recreation and Community. And Mr. Hanson and I are working to get a meeting scheduled for that, hopefully next week. So I have a few things. Some of it we may have discussed already tonight. I'll start with that. That's information about the pool. So long story short, we're closing in on an opening of the new Mason Municipal Aquatic Center. The week of March 28th, there will be some open houses scheduled, and hopefully the week of April 4th, they'll be open with some experimentation with open hours during that week. So the public should stay tuned for information on that. And the first week of May or so, we will be having our first manta ray meet. So that's all very exciting. And we're very thankful for Mitsubishi and their contribution to the scoreboard. Exciting news at the community center. The slides have been restored and they're very shiny. And you'd be amazed at all of the calcium buildup. And if council is so interested, I'll pass these around. We have some pictures that were provided to us of the calcium buildup and then the shiny new slides with them buffed. And good news, the frog slide will be restored as well with a new color scheme and friendlier frog eyes. So be looking for that, public. The cricket pitch is also installed now at Heritage Oak Park. That's in one of those pictures, I think. There's some more. Let's see. Oh, at the community center, more exciting news. The Mason All-Stars Basketball League, which is a league for basketball players with special capabilities, is now up and running and playing on Sundays. Games are at 1, 2, and 3 on Sunday afternoons for the next month or two. And they practice during the week at the community centers. And the American Legion donated $1,200 to that league. So if you see any of your friends from the American Legion, be sure to thank them for supporting the Mason All-Stars Basketball League. And finally, we had a visitor present from Luke 5 Adventures, a nonprofit born right here in Mason, Ohio, and I hope to get them in front of council soon. I think Mr. Chambers has met with one of their representatives already and looking for ways that we can help bring community awareness to this organization. They work closely with Cincinnati Parks and Children's Hospital, among many other organizations that help provide adventures with people with special capabilities. They have local chapters now in Cincinnati, Dayton, Cleveland, Colorado, Tucson, Arizona, and of course, Mason. They use a special piece of equipment called a joelette, which is from a company in France. There's only one company that makes one just like this, and that's a one-wheeled wheelchair, for lack of a better description. You can see what it looks like if you go to luke5adventures.com or you Google Joelette, Joelette. The organization has nicknamed it a Rosie after one of their first members who went on an adventure. If you're interested in volunteering, volunteer gets the title of Sherpa, and training is simple and fun. They're looking at close to 400 hikes planned for 2022, including the Pig Abilities Race and the Flying Pig. So, Council, I can't wait for you to meet them. They gave us many stories, and they had our rapt attention as a park board. It was hard to stop listening to the wonderful, miraculous stories, and they love Common Ground Playground. And since we all love Common Ground Playground here, I'll tell you about one story. One of the kids was in the Rosie, and she apparently took a ride up the curved wall, the sloped curved wall at the Common Ground Playground. That was one of the adventures because they specialize in making the inaccessible accessible. So that's the report I have for you from Park Board. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Grossman. I appreciate that. I think maybe we should make it mandatory that all the council members have to go down that new slide. What do you think? No? I don't think I'll get up again if I do that. Did anybody else have a committee report? Okay, let's go to item 22, which is old and new business. Does anybody have anything for old and new business? Yes.
I have a few things, and since we're not meeting for almost a month, I just wanted to bring a few things to council's attention. On April 12th, there is the State of the County luncheon at Shaker Run Golf Course, and the city usually participates in that, and that's a nice event for council members to attend. That's at lunchtime. April 9th, Center for Christian Virtue will be hosting Mike Pompeo at the Cincinnati Convention Center. April 9th. Safe on Main will be doing their annual gala on April 28th, and that's at the Manor House. Is that correct? Okay. Mayor Spaeth is on the board of Safe on Main, and that's a city-sponsored organization. And another organization in Warren County called the Warren County Child Advocacy Center is hosting an event on April 30th called Bourbon and Blue, and that is at Hidden Valley Orchard in Lebanon. And also, we learned tonight the Hindu Society, and I'm not exactly sure the exact title of their organization, but they'll be hosting something in the morning in Mason to celebrate their culture, and I think that is so exciting. I hope that we all can attend that. And we had an interesting memo in our memo packet from staff on census results. And so I won't go through all of that, but I will encourage everybody to check out the latest census figures. And council, if you haven't had a chance to take a look at that, it's very interesting. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have anything to add? Okay. We're item 23, recognition of visitors. Did anyone else want to come back up and come to the podium? Yes, please come on up.
Hello again, Charlotte Hagan. Do you need my address again?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, do you need my address again, Charlotte Hagan?
No, I think
No,
I'm good.
I'm a repeat from earlier. What is the dollar amount attached to that ordinance 2022-39?
The city's allocation on the ARPA funds is 3.6, approximately. I have two numbers in my head and I'm forgetting. I think it's 3.6, maybe 3.2. Give me one moment and I'll confirm.
Close enough. Is there a rhyme or reason to, sometimes on the ordinances it says what the amount of money is and sometimes it doesn't? I was just wondering if there's an oversight or if there's a pattern to when numbers are attached, as in some of these things are and some are not.
I would say typically when the city is expending dollars, you would find the amount on there because it's a bid for a certain amount for example, on the paving items. The ARPA funds, what I'll give you won't be a precise, it's not legislated as a precise amount necessarily.
Okay.
As much as it is I call it a calculation or an allocation. So it's harder to legislate a precise dollar amount.
Right. So if it was, I'm sorry, one of the things. So like on the one with the 2 down with the 41, we're talking about the in-car camera system. Is that also one where you wouldn't know an exact amount right now? So that I'm hugely in favor of that one. So, but yeah, I just wondered if there's a.
Sure. With respect to that one, I can tell you, like Mr. Hanson said, typically it does have a dollar amount in the title. That particular one is a multi-year contract. So if you look in the body of the ordinance, it says the amount for year one, and then separate amounts for years 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Okay.
There's just not a total amount in the title.
Okay, got it.
Those are annual expenditures.
Okay, so it's plumped out actually in the ordinance that didn't look far enough.
Yeah, especially on that. I know on that one that the
Okay.
numbers are down in section 1 or 2, I believe.
All right, thank you very much.
It's 3.6 million.
3.6.
Double check.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Those are great questions. And if everyone in our viewing audience does not know this, you can find the ordinances that we are considering on the City of Mason website. Everything's on there, as well as the agenda. There shouldn't be anything that you cannot find now. We have everything on there. If you have trouble, please call the city number, and I'm sure that they can help you navigate your way through that website. So thank you. All right, we're to item 24, which is executive session, and I need a motion to adjourn into executive session for the purpose of acquisition, disposition of property.
Second.
Okay, roll call?
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Spaeth?
Yes.
Councilmember Bradburn? Yes. Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Grossman?
Yes.
All right, thank you.